Moving on to section B. So in this case, question number 15 is write the chemical formula for washing soda. So for washing soda, chemical formula is sodium carbonate dot 10H2O because of water of crystallization. Now in the second part, it says how may it be obtained from baking soda. So if you want to obtain from baking soda, you have to heat baking soda to form a soda ash, that is Na2CO3 plus H2O plus carbon dioxide. And when we have soda ash, the soda ash must be dissolved in boiling water so that to obtain a saturated solution, and the saturated solution should be allowed to cool. Then washing soda crystals separate out to form washing soda. So here the equation is, this is what you can write. Now you have to write an industrial use of washing soda other than washing clothes. So it is used in the manufacturing of glass. Now moving on to the next question. Next question is, out of elements hydrogen, barium, sodium and magnesium 12, write the pair of elements having similar chemical properties. So H, hydrogen and sodium has same chemical properties because they have same valency. So you can write H and Na, and for the second pair you can write Be and magnesium because they have valency 2, therefore they have similar chemical properties. Now state the group number of each pair. For barium and magnesium it is group 2, and for hydrogen and sodium it is group 1. Now we have to name another element belonging to each of these groups. So Na and hydrogen, in that we have potassium, that is K. K belongs to group 1, and for the second one you can write calcium. Calcium belongs to group 2. So you should know some of the group elements from other group members as well to answer such type of questions. So now second question or part, in this you have calcium. Calcium having atomic number 20, stating the reason, answer each of the following question. Is calcium a metal or non-metal? Calcium is a metal because it can lose electrons to form cations. So it can actually form Ca2 plus because it has extra 2 electrons in it. In the second one, will its atomic radius be larger or smaller than that of potassium with atomic number? So its atomic radius will be smaller due to more number of protons and electrons, more forces of attraction will be there. Now write the formula of its oxide. So it is calcium oxide, that's simple, CaO. So these are the answers if you want to note down. Now question number 17. Write an equation each for decomposition reaction where energy is supplied in the form of heat, light or electricity. So here you can give 3 examples related to heat, light and electricity. So in the case of heat, you can give example of ferrous sulfate, because in ferrous sulfate we have to provide heat to decompose ferrous sulfate into different parts. So it is ferrous oxide, sulfur oxide and sulfur trioxide. Then for the second one, in the form of light, you can give example of silver iodide. Here you get silver and iodine as end product. In the third one, you can give example of electricity, where you can give example of bromide, lead bromide, which decomposes to form lead and bromide. So you have to remember these three to answer these types of questions. Now moving on to question number 18, where you have to answer how does control and coordination take place in plants. Moving on to question number 18, so you have to answer how does control and coordination take place in plants. So the first is, you can write some points about plant hormones, and then you can explain how they actually help in responding to those stimulus. So in this you have to first explain what is plant hormone or phytohormones, then you have to write about the stimulus they provide and how phytohormones are involved in the process of control and coordination between environment and the plant responses. So that's all what you need to write in question number 18. Now moving on to question number 19, where you have to answer the process of breakdown of glucose in a cell in the presence of oxygen or in the absence of oxygen. So in the presence of oxygen, as you know, when we have glucose is converted into pyruvic acid, then that pyruvic acid in the presence of oxygen in mitochondria gets converted into carbon dioxide and water molecule and energy. So that's you can write in the presence of oxygen. Then in the absence of oxygen. So in the absence of oxygen again, glucose is converted into pyruvic acid. Then in yeast or in the absence of oxygen, it gets converted into ethanol. That is an alcohol plus carbon oxide and energy is released in this case. So it is converted into ethanol and carbon dioxide, which is referred to as fermentation as well. And this process even occur in our muscle cells and cause lactic acid, form lactic acids, and it causes cramps in our body. So that's all you need to write in question number 18 or part. Now moving on to question number 19, which says what are plant hormones? Give its example. So in this case, you can write that the plant hormones are the chemical substances which are necessary for the proper growth and development of a plant. And you can even write that these are chemical substances and they are most important for coordinating substances in plants like auxin, gibberellin, cytokinin, and abscisic acid here. Now, that's all you need to write in question number 19. Then question number 20, it says, how do Mendel's experiments show that traits are inherited independently? So in that you have to write about Mendel's experiment in which he shows that how tall tea plants adopt round seeds and wrinkled seeds and they have uh, tallness dependent and dominant traits are there. So you have to explain that phenomena in this question fully. So you have to tell them what is the F1 progeny, then you have to tell what is F2 progeny and how they are adopted in this case. And in last, they have even concluded that tall and short traits and round and wrinkled traits have been inherited independently. So that's the most important line of this Mendel's experiment. Now moving on to question number 21. So here we have to name the hormones secreted by following endocrine glands and specify one function of each. So the first one, thyroid. In thyroid, it secretes thyroxine and it regulates metabolism of carbohydrates, fats and proteins. Then pituitary gland secretes growth hormone. Growth hormone regulates growth and development of a body. And then the third one, pancreas. Pancreas secretes insulin and insulin lowers blood sugar level. So that's what you need to write in 21st question. Now question number 22. It says describe an activity to show that the colors of white light splitted by a glass prism can be recombined to get white light by another identical glass prism. Also draw a ray diagram to show the recombination or spectrum of light. So in this, first of all, you need to describe the activity which was given by Isaac Newton. So in that you have to take a glass prism to obtain a spectrum of sunlight, and in the second identical prism it should be in a inverted position with respect to the first position. Then allow all the colors of spectrum to recombine and thereby a beam of white light will emerge from the other side of the second prism. So that's how you can obtain or this is also known as recombination or spectrum of white light. So that's what you can write, and I will show the diagram for same. So that's what you need to draw here. There is one prism and then inverted prism to obtain white light again on the screen. Now moving on to question number 23, where you have to name and define SI unit of resistance. So SI unit of resistance is ohm, and then you have to define 1 ohm. So if a current of 1 ampere flows through it when a 1 potential of difference is applied across it. So that's what you need to write in first part. Then in second part, calculate the resistance of a resistor if the current flowing through it is 200 milliampere when the applied potential difference is 0.8 volt. So current is given and it is given in milliampere. So you have to convert it into ampere. Then V is in 0.8 volt. Then you have to find the resistance. So R is V over I. Put the value of V and I respectively, and you will get your resistance as 4 ampere. Now moving on to question number 24. So you have to list the factors on which the resistance of a conductor depends. Shape of a wire depends. So it is directly proportional to the length and inversely proportional to the area. Then second part, why are metals good conductors of electricity whereas glass is a bad conductor of electricity? So as you know, metals have large number of free electrons, therefore they have low resistivity. Whereas the glass does not have any free electron in it, therefore the resistivity is higher. Now, in the third part, it says why alloy is commonly used in electrical heating devices. So alloys are used in electrical heating devices due to their high resistivity and high melting point, which produces more heat. So that's how you need to write answer for these three. Now moving on to question number next or part of it. It says name an instrument used for measuring electric potential difference. By drawing a diagram, show how this instrument is connected in an electric circuit. Why does this instrument practically not consume any electrical energy from the electrical circuit? So instrument used for measuring electric potential difference is voltmeter. Voltmeter, you know, is an extremely high resistance instrument. Thus, when connected in parallel, practically extremely small current flows through it. Hence, voltmeter is not consume any electrical energy from the electric circuit. That's the reason it does not consume any electrical energy from the circuit. That's how you need to connect voltmeter to resistance. So that's all for section B. I will continue with section C in the next video. Thank you for watching.